Hello and welcome to the video. This is Pac-Man here. Thank you very much for tuning in. And today's video is going to center around space stations, very specifically the derelict space stations that you find in certain systems across the galaxies. Now, over the years, No Man's Sky has really gone from zero to hero. Having a rough start at the gate, the game has gone through many updates and is now really a pleasure to explore in comparison to its initial release. With the countless worlds, creatures, oddities, No Man's Sky really provides the player with the tools to explore to their heart's content and write their own story. As someone who grew up reading a book series called Choose Your Own Adventure, this type of game really fits me like a glove. As an explorer traverses the galaxy, they will come across many different star systems with different races to interact with, and in most cases, a space station to go ahead and meet other life forms and engage in commerce of various forms. Some of the systems that the explorer will encounter, which show as inhabited by a race, will also show missing conflict information and a low economic output on the scanners. It is unclear whether these derelict space stations that exist in these systems were abandoned after heavy conflict or due to poor economies were abandoned, but either way, these stations are a unique locale to visit and provide not only a sales terminal and a teleporter ring, but also the locked Atlas 3 version rooms to go ahead and loot supplies from. Every time I enter a system like this during my travels, I find myself really thinking of what could be. And I think this video will center around what I see as a great expansion opportunity for the game in the future, which would not require a whole lot of extra work, which would actually just include a lot of the functions that are already in the game. So, if you have played the main questline of the game, during the Artemis questline, the player will encounter an entity named Apollo. This entity will provide the player with a function to employ base staff. These staff will teach the player blueprints and crafting recipes and will remain at the designated base terminals which you assign them to in your base. After completing quests for each of these staff, they provide a source of income for the player, and on a personal note, make the player base feel more lived in. My idea is really simple, actually, to have these space stations as something that you could really claim for yourself. And I know that this is not a unique idea, but I bet anything that this has crossed your mind in one way, shape, or form. This is the one that most commonly crosses my mind. As I can easily see that this is a great opportunity, it does cross my mind also that there's a lot of work that goes into adding functions to the game, which is why most of what I'm going to be going over is stuff that is already within the game. So within the base staff functioning as they do, the staff could be hired or transferred to a claimed derelict station, where they could have the function of, as they would in your main base, selling upgrade modules, and they could actually man the desks that are on one side of the station that do provide those modules. Prior to this, though, you would most likely have to go through a large repair stage on these space stations, which would probably include a lot of raw resources, units, and nanite clusters. A personal launch hangar could actually be added, or even just something as simple as a terminal to choose and switch your current spaceship could serve as your access point to your personal ship inventory within the station. I can also see additional missions to hire the main base staff, which include the stellar cartographer along with the guild desks. And also that gives another option right there for expansion where you, the player, could actually choose what type of guild you want housed in that particular station. As for the back rooms, which usually house additional NPCs, they could be used as player homes / base areas, and those could very easily be partitioned out, very similar to the way that freighters are built. Now, if you use a freighter, you will notice that there are double doors that go between the main hangar and the main, let's just say, living area of the freighter. Once you pass through one set of doors, you have to pass through the second door. This is an area partition between the two areas and could very easily be employed in the sliding door areas that separate the main area from those rooms. Furthermore, missions can be added to restore the actual main economy of the star system. This could include maybe clearing out abandoned buildings and accessing those terminals. Could be going to neighboring systems to go ahead and speak with other NPCs and employing them, or could actually just be something where I guess the amount of sales and the amount of what you build in a system could definitely do a direct correlation to the amount of economy stars rated your system is. The staff could also serve as a source of income for the player, you getting a minor percentage of the sales in the system. That would serve as kind of a player motivation to really build up the system that you claim, to go ahead and get money, whether it be units or nanite clusters. Since the aesthetic of the stations is already shared with the abandoned buildings which inhabit the surface planets, I see this as an opportunity to have missions dealing with exterminating the swarm. You could either have it just the swarm itself, or you could have combination mission where you have to destroy a various amount of swarm eggs scattered across the station, which would of course draw in the swarm. And also, the removal of junk slime and mold. This would serve as actually, during the mission process, a source of nanite clusters for the player in itself. So another layer of motivation to go ahead and get this done. As for the dominant race for the system, I can see this as either being a function to restore the initial race inhabiting this system back to a higher level, or possibly changing it to a system dominance where maybe it is now dominated by anomaly and you can have a various number of different races employed at the station and inhabiting the system in itself. This is something that can definitely be built on, and I have a ton of ideas to go with that idea, just as that, a standalone idea. So with these stations and with these abandoned buildings, the possibilities are really endless, which is why I hope the devs expand upon this soon. I believe that changes like these would have a very positive reaction, not just with the community, but would build a lot of layers to the game that I feel are just missing at this point. It would bring us one step closer to being able to claim an entire star system, something which, I don't know about you, but has been on my wish list since the beginning. Anyways, those are really my thoughts on the issue of how they can take not only the abandoned building storyline of the game, but also these abandoned space stations and really tie them into a cohesive idea and bring the player into, actually motivating the player to really build in a system and, bring life to the galaxy, you know what I'm saying? But those are my 2 cents on the issue. I thank you very much for listening. I very much appreciate it. Of course, leave a like, hit that subscribe and that bell notification, of course. And if you like what you see, if you would like to see anything specific content-wise, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. I do read all of them. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for tuning into this video. I very much appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one. Peace out and thanks again.